Hello everyone, so welcome to my first tutorial in my new bathroom. I am doing a full face get ready with me. I wanted to share with you guys some of my favorite products, and I think the best way to do that is a get ready. So they tend to be a little bit lengthier and longer in video length because I am talking about quite a bit of products, sharing with you guys some favorites, even things that I'm not using in today's video that are favorites of mine. I will share with you and then also kind of list some of those down below because there's so much good stuff that I want to talk about, but we'd be here all day long. So I'm going to kind of break it up into different get ready with me videos here and there throughout the next several months, just kind of sharing with you guys different things, different routines, different makeup looks that I've been doing. But today is one that I have done plenty of time, this exact same look I wore just 2 days ago. But it's just some of my favorites, the kind of antique bronzy eye, which you guys know if you watch a lot of my tutorials, I love a bronzed eyeshadow and the way it looks against the brown eyes, mixing some blushes, my favorite new lip combo, all good things that I'm sharing with you guys, all things that I recommend. So if you're interested in seeing what my makeup is for the day and kind of go with me through the process of getting ready, we can chit chat and kind of talk, then stay tuned and just keep watching. All right, so we're gonna start with primer, and I'm going to probably mix a few different things because I do wanna try some new things. I have the Rare Beauty Pore Diffusing Primer that I like to try that I recently got during the Sephora VIB sale. I picked up the small one just to try it because what I normally use is the Stila One Step Correct, and I've talked about this plenty of times. I've been using this for probably a year and a half, maybe a little bit more, and it's a very good primer to sort of cancel out any redness, help even things out a little bit so that I use less foundation. So I do think that a color correcting primer is good to have. And take about, I don't know, that much. And I'm going to just kind of massage this into my skin. It feels almost like you're putting on a moisturizer. I don't want it to sound like it's super thick and kind of goopy, but it does feel quite nice. It's not as slippery as a silicone-based primer. If you're familiar with the Smashbox Photo Finish, the original, the clear one, that has a slip to it. This is feels more nourishing. I also have this one from Saie, and it is the Glowy Super Gel in Star Glow. This is a really nice product. It gives a pretty glow to the skin. It doesn't look super shimmery, super glowy as in like specks on the face. It actually looks like your skin is super healthy and just has this beautiful glow to it, like you put on a good moisturizer and your skin is in the best health. That's what this does, and you can use this on its own under makeup, which I've done before, and as a highlight, and it's a really pretty product, and it does add a little bit of hydration to the skin. So if you're not familiar with this, I do think it's one that is good to try if you like kind of like a dewy finish with your foundations, or if you like to have like a dewy primer underneath. That's also a very good one. I think I'm going to try a little bit of the Rare Beauty. If I'm out of breath, it's because I'm rushing to get this done, but I'm also pregnant, so that causes me to be a little bit out of breath. So I'm going to get about that much. I'm not really familiar with this primer from Rare Beauty, so I don't really know how much I'm supposed to use. So about a pearl size, and this does have a slip to it, so it does feel a bit more silicone-y than the Stila, which was more moisturizing in my opinion. So for foundation today, I think I'm going to go in with the Kosas Revealer Foundation. I have the shade, where's the shade listed? Very light and neutral 110 is the shade that I have. I also have the concealer. This is a very much raved about product in the beauty community, and I have the Revealer Concealer in 01N. Approximately about a pump of this foundation, and I do apply it to the back of my hand, and then I kind of work with a damp sponge, and then I just start blending this in. And this foundation does add a little bit more radiance. Not like a glow, but just more hydration than my Charlotte Tilbury, which I will show you. The Airbrush Flawless Foundation, again, the writing is rubbing off on this because this is like literally my go-to. This is more matte, and the coverage I think is more on the fuller side with Charlotte than the Kosas. But I have some other foundations like the Beautiful Skin from Charlotte. Some of these like hydrator that are, this is the one from Urban Decay. It's the Tinted Glow Hydrator that's really good. I have so many to choose from and I have good ones, so maybe I should just kind of share with you guys like a video just on like foundations and just to kind of talk about all my favorite ones in one video and what I like about them, because you'll be seeing them in future tutorials as well as I use them, because I do use different ones on a daily basis. I like to switch it up as much as possible. But before I go in with any other concealer product, I do want to use my Charlotte Tilbury Corrector. This is in the shade 1 Fair. It's a kind of peachy corrector that I use pretty much every single day. And I use my fingers to kind of blend this in. And I do just a little bit first, and then I go in with my concealer. So I'm going in with my Kosas concealer. I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit because I don't want to do too much over that corrector from Charlotte that I already have on. Then to set my concealer, I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury powder. This is the mini size. I have the shade Fair. And then I use a Real Techniques brush. This is the setting brush from Real Techniques. And I just kind of load up my brush and just kind of go real quickly under the eyes so it doesn't crease. Now I'm also going to take that same powder, the same brush, and go over my lids now that I've applied my primer. And I use the Urban Decay primer. I have another one that I ordered during the VIB sale. I ordered this one from the Milk makeup brand, the Grip Eye Primer. So if you try it, let me know what you think, because I have yet to use that one. All right, so for my bronzer, I'm going to use the Rare Beauty. This is the Power Boost Bronzing Stick. This is actually a really good formula. And I just kind of like scribble it on and use that as my bronzer pretty much on a regular basis. And I do use my damp sponge to blend this out, and the formula blends so great over my foundation. I've also done this over powder. I know they say no creams over powder, but if the cream formula is good, then everything will work out and it'll look good. So I really do enjoy this one, and I can see why I was sold out on Sephora. Like I was on wait list for a little while for this, and so when it came back in stock, I went ahead and snagged it because I obviously wanted to try it. But being on wait list is kind of like you anticipate when you get the email, you're like excited and you're, oh goody, I get to get the product finally and see why it's sold out. And I can definitely see it gives the color that you want from a bronzer, but there's no harsh lines. It kind of just like melts into the foundation or whatever your base is, and it just looks just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like maybe it might be too much, or you think it might be a little bit more pigmented than using powders with a big fluffy brush. Try the one from Rare Beauty, and I think you'll enjoy it if you like cream products, because it is a really great formula. In my opinion, I think it's really, it just blends well. There's just something so great about this formula that I absolutely love. Okay, so I need to do blush still, but before I do that, I'm going to quickly do my brows, and I'm going to use my Anastasia brow definer in the shade medium brown. I also have a couple other ones. I have the Kosas brow pencil. I have the one from Charlotte Tilbury. I have a couple other ones that I like to use, but this one is the first one that I grabbed, and I'm just going to go in for this one today. But this is the brow definer, so it's the triangular pencil. It's not the micro fine one, which I also have that one. The Brow Wiz, which is thinner, that's also a really good one. But I'm going to go with this one today, and I'm going to fast forward through this part quickly because this is the part that, in my routine, that probably takes the longest. And it's also probably the most boring portion of the makeup routine, is doing the eyebrows. Alright, so I have my brows filled in, and one of the things I've been doing lately over the last several months, even though I haven't been doing videos, I've still been trying to do my makeup as often as I can, as I felt like I could, because I was dealing with a lot of morning sickness during that time that I was gone. But one of the things that I had been doing around that time when I did my brows was take the Highbrow Duo Pencil from Benefit. This has two shades. So one side is the linen pink and one side is a soft gold. And so I take the linen pink with this brush, which is really great from Real Techniques. And I don't know, it says angled brow and then spoolie. So I think that's just what it's called. I don't think it has a specific name. So I take the angled part, which looks like an eyeliner brush, and I kind of swipe it on the tip of the pencil. And I go around like the edges to do like cleanup. So see, I came a little too far down with this brow, and with this, it's almost like erasing any like little mistakes, and it just kind of perfects the brow and it kind of cleans that up. And this is a step that I honestly didn't do before. Like I just would do my brows and put the gel in it and then be done with it and not feel like I had to do any additional steps for my routine for brows. But honestly, when you take the time to do that, it creates a more perfected look and it doesn't take very long at all. And I like this pencil because you can do the matte side, which is the linen pink that I'm using today. And then if you wanted to do the shimmery side, you could do that and highlight your brow. I wouldn't do the shimmer all the way around like I am right now. You see me doing with the angle brush. I would just keep that shimmer to the brow bone area specifically. For my gel, I'm going to use the Revita Lash Brow Gel. This is the High Depth Brow, which I'm running low, but I did order the brow gel from Kosas. So once I finish this up, I do feel like it's on its way out. I can bust out the new one. Now for blush, this is kind of like one of my favorite things. I've had this thing where every time I'm buying something online like Sephora or Ulta, or if I go in store, I always am attracted to all beauty things, obviously, but I'm like gravitating towards blushes. And so I'm like getting some powder blushes, some liquid ones, some that come like this is the Charlotte Tilbury ones. And I just love it because I'm mixing quite a different few colors to create my own. And it's so fun to kind of try different things or mix some of your products and make your own. So I've been doing that a lot lately. So I have the Pinkgasm, which is from Charlotte Tilbury. It's a peachy pink with a golden shimmer. Beautiful. And then I also have the Pillow Talk one that recently came back in stock, but this is more of a highlight, which you can mix into a blush if you wanted to. But what I've been doing is I've been mixing the Pinkgasm with my M Cosmetics stick blush in the shade Baby. So these are the So Soft blushes, and the formula is actually really, really nice. This is a very bright, the camera is kind of picking up a little bit more on yellowy tones overall, but this is a bright kind of baby pink color. And the formula is very silky and just beautiful. So I take some, I could just swirl on the back of my hand, and then I take some of the Charlotte one, which these make a mess, which is why I don't ever go directly to my face with the applicator. I always go on the back of my hand and I put quite a bit on. And then what I do is I use a brush and a sponge. So I start off with a brush. This is my angled blush brush from It Cosmetics. It's the mini one. Any angled brush would work. And so I just kind of work those two colors on the back of my hand, using my hand as a makeup palette. And it's going to create the most beautiful blush ever. Like, it is so beautiful. So I've been doing my blush a little bit higher. So I just kind of start stamping just very, very lightly on the tops, kind of keeping my blush a little higher and not so much close to my nose, kind of just on the apples of the cheek and up higher. And so it looks a little crazy because I'm adding quite a bit, but I'm going to blend this out with the brush and the sponge. Then I also take whatever's left and I come around like the temples, almost like if you were contouring with your blush. And it is so beautiful. So once I feel like that's pretty well blended, I would take my beauty sponge and then go over everything, because it can look a little harsh, especially right here in this cheek area. But once you blend that out, it's beautiful. And then I go back in with my brush. I also take some across the tip of my nose, over like the bridge of my nose, kind of like how I did with a little bit of my bronzer. And I just keep going back and forth between the brush and the sponge to kind of melt everything in. And since I'm on the topic of Charlotte Tilbury and my favorites, and the whole Pillow Talk thing is, obviously I love the tone of the Pillow Talk range. It's a whole world in and of itself within the brand. But I have the Beauty Light Wand, and again, I go on the back of my hand and I just kind of dab it. You could, if you wanted to, go directly on here, but I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but it does come out a lot and it gets messy. So I'm gonna take my brush. This is the ColourPop F33 brush that I got probably like over a year ago. It's almost like a crease brush, but it's quite fluffy and it's on the larger side. So I use that for my highlight. And I just kind of highlight my brow bone, tops of the cheekbone, down the nose, tip of the nose, Cupid's bow. So then I'm gonna do my lips because they feel a little dry, and I'm gonna share with you the combo that I've been doing quite a few times that I feel like it's just absolutely, it's one of my faves, which is why I'm showing it to you. So I have two products. I have the Fenty Beauty lipstick. This is what they look like when you buy the refill, so that you can take it out of the plastic bullet container and you can just swap out your colors, which is kind of cool. And then this is the Merit lip oil. So this lip oil is kind of like my lips, but better, a little bit deeper in tone. So honestly, for being a lip oil, I do feel like it's extremely pigmented. As you can see that there's some pigment. So then I take the Fenty lipstick in the shade Motha, and I go over the top. I look a little weird because I have nothing around my eyes, and it just, I need to do my eyeshadow for the day, but it's actually really pretty. Okay, so before I do my eyes, I'm gonna do my setting spray. The Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is my small travel size, and I have a little less than half in here because it's so good. So for eyes today, I think I'm gonna do something simple, nothing too crazy. I have a couple palettes. This is the quad from Makeup by Mario, the 4Play Everyday Quads. This is the nudes in the Nudes 1 option, which looks like that. You have like a coppery bronze. This is another kind of bronzy shade, but honestly, it almost has a very subtle, I'm picking up a little olivey in tone to it, but it's, when you look at it, it's not really olive. It's kind of like an antiqued bronze. What a description, right? And then like a tan that's pretty warm, and then this light kind of beigey ivory. So I take that light ivory shade and I go over my lids. I always do this. It's pretty much out of habit because I already set my primer, but I always do this. If there's a cream in any palette, I always just kind of go for it. So I'm going to start actually with my crease, and so I'm going to take a big fluffy brush and go in with that warm shade that's in that quad, and I'm going to apply this pretty quickly in my crease area, not being too crazy about the placement and being too perfect about it. I'm just kind of going for a more of a defined crease because I feel like even though I do like one shadow looks, having a little bit of extra something in the crease really does help kind of ground everything and make it look just a little bit more elevated without it being a lot of work. And what I like about these, even though I have similar shades in other palettes, is they're so easy to work with. They're actually a very good formula, and that's why I reach for this pretty often. As you can see, you may have noticed possibly the camera picking up some brush marks because I do use this as, you know, that often. Okay, for the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with like a pencil style brush. This is more of like a crease brush, but it's kind of more like a pencil brush. And I'm going to go right around the lower lash line. I'm going to go in for the lid, and I'm going to use that sort of antique bronze eyeshadow. This is a Real Techniques brush. This says Base Shadow Brush. And you do have to tap off because you will have a little bit of fallout if you use a brush like this one from Real Techniques. And this is going to go all over my lid. And then I'm going to kind of blend that right into that crease color that I have. And I also like that when I do use this palette, now I'm only experienced with these specific four. I don't know about the other ones in this line, but I don't have a lot of fallout on my lower eye area, which is great because I do my concealer and my foundation routine first. I'm gonna take that same bronzy color with a more detailed brush, and I'm going to apply that to my lower lash line as well, just to kind of make it a little bit more cohesive. This is the Makeup by Mario, and it is the Master Pigment Pro Pencil in Super Black. So what's cool about this that I feel like is worth trying if you're interested, not only do you have a pencil that's sharpenable, just like the majority of pencil liners on the market, but the opposite end usually is a smudger, like this one from Sephora, this one from L'Oreal, but this one from Makeup by Mario includes a brush, a very flat cut brush that you can use to smoke out the liner, which I do every time I use eyeliner. I smudge it, but that's also, to me, something very unique. Most pencil liners, if they do come with a smudging end, it's going to be a brush, like more like a silicone tip, or a kind of spongy eyeshadow brush that you get in palette kind of finish. So it's not going to be something like a brush, which again, another big selling point, which is why I got this one. So I'm going to just do the tiniest bit. But the thing is, with this brush, it is very flimsy. It's got a lot of flexibility, so it can be a little tricky to smoke everything out, but you have to kind of use it on its side. Great eyeliner, but you got to kind of be a little careful with it. For mascara, I've been using this one from Ilia. This is the Limitless Lash Mascara. This is a small one that came in a kit. And I actually do like this mascara. I'll show you up close what it looks like. It's got like a lash comb on the top. And then at the bottom here, it's your more typical kind of mascara wand. But this one does have a little bit of a setback with this, because the actual part that's a lash comb can be quite pokey if you're not careful. So I wish the plastic was a little bit softer. However, that being said, I do think that it does define the lashes, because I'm using the lash mascara, can't even talk. I'm using the actual side that looks like a typical mascara wand to apply my first layer, and then once I'm done with that, I go back in with whatever's left with the lash comb side and kind of comb that through. I wish it was a little softer, but I do like how it lengthens, thickens, and separates because of that brush comb looking side, which is nice. And I also do use the same mascara for my lower lash line, and I do the regular side that looks more of like a typical wand, not the comb side. And it wears nice. I haven't had any issues with transfer or smudging, flaking, or anything like that. I think we're done. This is my makeup for today. Very simple, kind of talking a lot, sharing a lot of favorites, and trying to get everything done and trying to keep this video short. If it's longer than my previous videos, stay tuned for shorter videos, maybe some voiceovers that I can kind of quickly film. But I really miss doing these videos and kind of sharing and talking about favorites and all the things that I like makeup wise. So it's just really nice to kind of get back into that and do my first video. And so kind of work, kind of stay with me while I work through the lighting situation and kind of tone down a little bit of the warm coming from these lights in the bathroom and my vanity mirror. So I will adjust that as necessary. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's makeup routine, and I appreciate you so much for being here and watching. And if you're interested in anything that I used today, or any of my favorites and just random favorites and categories that I talked about previously in the beginning of the video, they will be listed in the description box for you. Follow me on Instagram so you get notified when I post a video, when I'm filming, and just kind of random things that I'm starting to post again on Instagram, and it's great to connect with you there. Hopefully we can be friends there, and I will see you very, very soon.